Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. Woo! Had to work on my mic. Yeah, I think I heard y'all didn't hear none of that. That bullshit. Okay, it's a lot going on here. It's a lot going on here. A lot going on here. A lot going on here. Yeah, I'm trying to get this shit right. Okay, get this stuff right here. I'm gonna get this set up. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Yeah, it's a lot. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about a lot. Everything, it's a lot of censorship online and they're trying to regulate stuff. Let's talk about the ban of cell phones in the school system. I remember one time I didn't have cell phones that young because I come from an era that's very different. Everything's restrictive now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like what we used to, like, I'll say 20 plus years ago. See, school back then was a little different. People's more strict. If you're from the south, if you're from where I'm from originally, the South was very, very lenient. They was very lenient on things. They didn't, cell phones was a brand new concept. It wasn't really the smartphone era. I'll say it didn't exist till probably like 2012. But if you really want to get technical about it, that's just where that era started. I just want to start there because I think when you think about the smartphone era, you think about a lot of things that goes into it. Like there's a lot of school banning cell phones. And I think this is not a bad thing, but this is actually what you see. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see something. Okay. I didn't mean to hit that. Sorry about that. I don't have to mute it. It's going off on there. I just got to mute it. Hope I don't get hit by that. Because usually I hope I don't get hit by that. So, okay. I'll mute this for a minute. Okay, so CBS only 54% of the U.S. still said they drink alcohol, a record low. Let's see this. Let's see this article. I'm gonna post it somewhere. Shouts out to the squad. Only 54% of U.S. adults say they drink alcohol, a record low. A new poll shows what's behind the decline. Okay, fewer Americans are reporting that they drink alcohol, admitting a growing belief that even the moderate alcohol consumption is a health risk. He says a health risk, according to the Gallup poll released on Wednesday. I want to read that again. Got too many distractions in the background. Okay, fewer Americans are reporting that they drink alcohol, admitting to a growing belief that even if the moderate alcohol consumption is a health risk, according to the Gallup poll released Wednesday. But the survey finds that 54% of the U.S. adults say they drank alcohol beverages such as liquor and wine or beer. But the lowest by 1% point in Gallup's nearly 90-year trend, the analytics company says, a record high percentage of the U.S. adults, 53%, now say that the modern drinking is bad for their health, up from the 28% in 2015. The uptick in doubt about the alcohol's benefits is largely driven by young adults, but the age group that is most likely to believe drinking one or two drinks a day can cause health hazards. But the older adults are also now increasingly likely to moderately drink carries risk. Oh, I stopped drinking in 2010. That's years ago. So yeah, this is an interesting article. Well, it is health risk. Um, I know you can get diabetes from it. I know that because it's got certain breads and certain alcoholic sugars, and then a lot of people get what they call visceral fat. Visceral fat's a real thing. That's the number one causes a lot of problems that people have. The belly fat. That's called visceral fat. A gym ain't gonna fucking fix that. I don't care what nobody say. Your diet and all that, that takes time. People act like it's easy. They stupid as hell. Y'all need to wake the fuck up. It doesn't. That takes years of work. I don't know who y'all be listening to online. They be lying to y'all. That takes years of work. See, when you work out, you got to be dedicated. Yeah, you eat the right stuff, you good. Lost said gym don't determine. Yeah, it does. If you put in the work, you put in the work. Motherfuckers act like the gym doesn't work. It does work. You just got to care. And if you don't care, then you're the problem. It's a lot of fools like that, man. Like a lot of people, they be on BS, and then there it is. That's why I look at this stuff like a grain of salt, but I treat people the same, bro. Everywhere I go, I just laugh and say, "Hey, this is the type of shit that you're dealing with." I'm gonna put this on mute. That's a lot of nonsense online. So, what I learned about the school system and the cell phone. Let's talk about that. We get on the subject. The alcohol thing. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. I just saw that article. I had to read it. Well, the cell phone era. Um, when I was coming up, I didn't get a cell phone or a track phone until probably 2007. That's a long time ago, right? And this is when I was young then. I just graduated out of high school. That's when I had a track phone. I was talking to my family, friends, one of my cousins in town. He was from another area. That was a great time. The track phone was great, and I ran out of minutes. But once I finally got a cell phone, an actual cell phone, oh, it's a different story. I think my first cell phone was a Nokia. When I wanted a cell phone, I finally got one at a young age. I think I had one since 19. I had a Nokia. I had another one that was from Metro PCS, and I was going to work and stuff like in the training center. I was yeah, I remember. I'll never forget when I had a Metro PCS. I was texting all that. Yes, I had one with pictures on it. A flip phone. I had a lot of flip phones. I had a lot of flip phones. I had the Sidekick one. Oh man, the Metro phone back then when I was younger. This is when I was younger. This is when I was in my 20s. Hell of an era. The flip phone and the Sidekick. You flip the phone to the side, texting. That was huge in that period from '07 till probably before 2010. That was a hell of an era. That era was so cold. You can talk about being a player back then. It's so easy back then. Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend at the time. My ex was I dated her like a 6 month span, but it wasn't shit. She was messed up at the end. You know how it is. I don't mess with her no more, but back then I was on some other shit. I had my thing going. So this is when I was a lot younger. Now I'm just more focused and more focused on what I need to do now. So back then, it's just I look at it now like I look at back at my old channel what I used to have. I was into that type of stuff. Yeah, I was into sports and everything, you name it, all different topics like I am now. But the only difference is I'm more conserved with my stuff now. I'm more preserved what I'm doing now. So when I look at the cell phone era when I was younger, I didn't have a cell phone in middle school. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I wasn't even distracted. I was focused on school because back then cell phones was it wasn't taboo. It was a few people that had it in our middle school, but it wasn't like our thing. We didn't grow up on it. I didn't grow up in the smartphone era. I never grew up in the smartphone era. You can ask anybody. Back from if you want to talk about 9/11 and pre and in the 90s, shit, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone in elementary. I'll tell you why. I come from the pre-smartphone era. Our generation is different. We was born in the 80s. We didn't have that shit. I didn't have my first taste of it was at the tail end of the century, the last great part of the century, of the early 21st century, the early part of 21st century. We talking about before 2010. And that was a hell of a year and we talking about '07 and the period of '09. That was a great period when I came on YouTube on my first channel. And I'll never forget it because it was a great period because I had everything at that time. I look back at it now, I'm like, what the hell I was doing? I don't know if I have the old Sidekick cell phone in the closet somewhere. And it just goes to show you where we at today. You know what I'm saying? But most people don't understand that that's the stuff that we live by. But now you look at it, they're trying to ban in schools, and I think in the state of New York they said they was gonna give them track phones, which is crazy, and for emergencies and shit like that. Well, they all should start out with track phones at first before they get a cell phone, a real cell phone, if they into stuff. Now, if they online on YouTube, which is crazy, they try to age restrict YouTube. Technically, they should a little bit, but here's the thing about YouTube though. All my stuff, they already got my information from the Google account and this account, so it's like I data wise, they protect your data anyway. If you buy some of the things, you're good. But other than that, everybody's gonna comply if you use this platform. I don't say a lot of crazy shit like I used to. I refrain from that. I still do, just not on this website that's mediocre right now. But you're dealing with a fool in the White House that people voted for. Their stupid vote for. He's out of there. I said what the fuck I want on here. I just don't go in depth as much like I used to. I done said enough said on this channel. I'm just looking at it like observation and give you the news that most people ain't shit. But when you vote for an idiot like that, I've been saying the longest, Trump is not the guy that you want to pick for. And voting for the other candidate, like, I didn't pick her. Don't ask me why I didn't or not. It don't matter at this point. If she would have won, it wouldn't have mattered because here's the thing, she had been controlled by the same men that control it, even though she had made some changes. But here's the thing, we still would be in conflict over there. But Trump did the opposite. What people say he wasn't going to do, he was going to do it anyway. He always wanted to do that. And that's why the idiots that voted for him will look stupid and stupid. And he about to get ousted with the Epstein shit. But we're not going to talk about the Epstein files. Like, fuck out of here with that because it's irrelevant. We got other content creators talking about that. That's all a game. But Jag is going to drop some shit. I give about the end of this summer and the fall, you're going to hear some shit. I'll tell you that much. But it's never ending. It's always something. But this is an era of exposure. You know what I mean? People getting exposed left and right, and then Trump's out of there. People are happy with what's going on. But when you look at these schools banning stuff, banning cell phones, that's who y'all voted for. Y'all voted for the same old shit over and over for like the last 8 years or 16 years combined. So the cell phone banning is real, man. Like they doing it all across the board in the United States. They all trying to do what's necessary. And when I saw these articles, man, I mean, that shit's real. I mean, y'all hearing this? Like they trying to get rid of a lot of shit, but they're trying to get rid of it in a way to keep the kids focused. I think the first thing people should understand is that you get your focus out first but the children is so distracted with um probably a lot of stuff on the social networks, which y'all ignorantly call social media by the boomers and illiterate fucks, the older generation call it. That's what they're calling it. Back then, I'll never forget from '07 from on up, pre-smartphone era, they used the word social networking. But when it is called social media, blame the sorry bitch ass boomer generation. And somewhat of our generation used coin that phrase, which is retarded, by the way. Like, I never heard of that shit when I first came to YouTube. It's called social network because Mike S called it SN all day. We never call it SM because SM is not the issue. When people blame the internet, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. No, it's motherfuckers, you casual bitch ass people, you casuals have ruined what the internet is today. You fucking casuals. You fucking casuals. Casuals ruin every fucking thing. And the reason why I say they're fucking casuals, like you see this in the video game industry, video game, space. You see it in the sports world. Yes, in the adult world, entertainment, all that. I'm not into that, but I'm saying they ruin everything. And they're lame as fuck and they act like suckers out here. You see it on X, which are formerly known as Twitter. Fucking casuals. Like I said, I fucking hate casual idiots. I, when I say casual, I'm talking about fanatics. I'm not a fan person. I'm a supporter of anything that's good, but I'm not no fanatic over some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? But you guys, stupid casuals, be talking the dumbest shit, and this is why platforms are dead because of y'all. Y'all voted for Trump. Trump's got a lot of casual idiots. That's all that he does. When I say casual idiots, they're all casuals that voted for him. They're stupid. And now they're mad because he got the episode. It don't matter. You're a fucking casual. You should study politics properly. Stop believing what's on the media. There's no such thing as left and right. It's fake. The left is leftist. But the true leftists are anarchists. They don't live in this United States or the Americas. They're underground and outside the different layers of different territories around the world, right? See, right leaning or right, whatever you want to call it, that's the extreme right. They're authoritarian. Some of them are aristocrats. They're a mix of a lot. It's different strands of rights. And then you got your conservative little bitches. They're in the middle. I don't call them left or right. They always lean towards the middle, like little bitches that they are. Because if you're the term democracy, that's a conservative term, by the way. And yes, I had an individual said that 4 years ago and told me that and explained that to me. He was in the military, and salute to him though. And he know who he is. Um, that's true. That's true. And I did thorough research on that. But if you're conservative, they don't lean towards left and right. They always in the middle. They don't do shit. They get told what to do by authoritarian, aristocratic people, but they always want to lean towards this utilitarian society nonsense. This is why liberals are utilitarian people. They lean towards the right. See, they try to say liberals is left. There's no left or right liberals. There's only one liberal. Liberals lean towards the hard right and they agree everything what the right says. They're full of shit, just like Trump. They promise you big shit and they lie. Low aspirations and low expectation motherfuckers. That's why you got a lot of them on the internet be talking all this bullshit, especially the advertisement is trash on here. They be spewing all types of nonsense. They broke asses. And when you look at a YouTuber that has more subscribers than me or way more, and they put ads on their videos, I blame they casual asses and a combination of other idiots. And this is why the site is going downhill. Casuals ruin YouTube. Casuals ruin X. They ruin Instagram. They ruin everything to perpetuate corporate greed. And it's called utilitarianism. This is not capitalism problem. This is a greed problem. You see it in the video game sector. You see all sectors of all forms of entertainment, sports, you name it, and the public workspaces. Casuals ruin fucking everything. It's a small rant, but y'all bear with me. A casual is just a guy that is so oblivious, and he can be a little nonchalant. Nonchalance can be good or bad. It depends on, everybody's nonchalant to certain things, but if you're super duper nonchalant to the issues and don't care, you have to have a little care, but don't care at all. Um, you're far from being safe. But I understand it's different levels of nonchalantness. So how you want to say it, but everybody's got their own how they look at things, and it's okay. But people get caught up on the nonsense. But I get it. I get the fact that people just look at it like this is wild, man. Yeah. If this get hit with a copyright claim, I'll redo it. I ain't gonna redo it today. I was gonna rename it. And I'll call it a redo stream of the mistake that I did. But y'all bear with me. But if it doesn't get hit, I'll make it 30. It's a 35th edition. Okay, so it'll be 36th edition. Okay, but bear with me. It's a redo, and then I'll probably pre-record or whatever. But don't mind because I play something in the background. Hope it didn't pick that up. And the microphone picks up a lot of shit, but this is dynamic, so I'm good. Okay. Yeah, about cell phone banning. We're talking about cell phone banning. I'm in the minutes. I'm like 23 minutes in. Well, cell phone banning of all school for the kids. I'm talking about kids. I see a lot of articles them getting banned, right? So if they're banning cell phones for the children, if y'all have children, you fellas, if you have children or not, or if you sky watching whatever, be careful out there. In our era, when we was kids, when we was teenagers, we didn't have a lot of cell phone activity. We didn't have a lot of social networking back then. That's what we called it back then. When MySpace was the thing in 2003. Prior to 2003, everybody was outside. I was outside technically. I didn't use MySpace a lot, but these kids use everything now. They use TikTok. I call it shit talk. By the way, it's trash. A lot of these trash websites. But when you're on these sites, it is distracting. So the last, I'll say 10 years to now, there's a lot of distracted students online. I see a lot of murders go up. So if they ban it all around the United States, what they're trying to do, I guess people are fed up. It's not going to help them. It's going to hurt them at the end because most of these people ain't shit. That's a bad leadership in parenting, right? That's basically what it is. But I learned that's not going to fix everything. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to fix everything. So the biggest thing that we're looking at is the fact that people are going to go in there and not learn a damn thing. They still not learning a damn thing. You still got to do research outside the stuff they telling you. But I don't think it's a big deal for certain children if they're smart enough not to bring cell phones into school, or they sneak it in or whatever, get a track phone, whatever. But if you do have cell phones, your own personal cell phone, that's just wild. That's just wild to me. It's nothing wrong having cell phones. I'm just saying, but on the school premises, yeah, distracting and things like that. But yeah, cell phones is wild. Like, did I see people with cell phones? Absolutely. Absolutely. Even in high school, it was wide open. I never had one. I had one. I mean, my very first one was what 2007. That's the first time I had one. I've been having one ever since. After when I was adult, yeah, I use one. I use a cell. I don't use no phone, no landline. Ain't nobody using that no more because everybody's digital. But if a kid uses a cell phone, that's worse. He's already brainwashed. So what we're seeing now, they try and take the mind off the children with these phones, and they're raising them. The phones ain't really raising them. No, it's just bad leadership, and people just don't raise their children. They don't lead their children the right way. That's why they're pathetic. That's why I hate these fucking casual people, YouTubers on here, especially on the internet. These content creators on the internet that has kids and they're really casual about this shit and they barely raise their kids. That goes for anybody. I am not a fan of those people. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Now I'm not mad at the ones that do have kids, they support me or whatever. I'm cool with them, but it's just a lot of them that have these big channels. They make me sick. And they have children. And they're casuals. They don't give a fuck about the kids. That's gonna affect them if they have kids going to school currently, if they're younger. I mean, that's on you. I mean, I don't feel sorry for you. You should have known that. If you raise those kids recklessly, and that's why Call of Duty, they there's a video game, the Call of Duty popular video game Xbox. I don't play that piece of shit. But I'm just saying they ask for age restriction and data. See, a lot of stuff, if you see the school and all that, that's all ties into that. And I ain't gonna mention the CP content. That's what the Republicans support on the low. They try to say it's alleged. It ain't alleged. That's what they do. That's why I say fuck both parties. That's why people don't fuck with them. But if you notice, they'll never get rid of that. There's facts to back that up. I don't have to lay out facts for them idiots out there. See, anybody listening to them and these idiots on the internet are the problem. That's why, like I said, casuals dictate the needle how the world works. They're fucking morons that need to be eliminated, but the hardcore people will silence them if they don't buy their products. And they know that. Don't give it to a fucking casual. He don't care. Because casuals don't like anything. Go somewhere else and be in a casket and be a hardcore person somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But there's no such thing as hardcore casuals. They're just casuals. They're stupid. And that's why people don't listen to them. And they don't. Because casuals don't care. They don't have no feelings. They're bots. That's what a bot is. Casual piece of shit. That's what's ruins society. When I say casual, I'm not saying you casual go in. I'm saying being a casual mind slave, a idiot that believes in utilitarianism. See, you see how I'm putting it all together? It's all a utilitarian society. They want you to be a casual in everything, which is stupid. I ain't no fucking casual. If I try something, I try something. I tell you, if I don't like something, I don't like something. If I don't, fuck the whole thing together. I'll play something else. I'll do that. Same with video games, my actual hobbies and other things, and I'll turn some on and get rid of it. That's me. I've done that so many years, and I've done so many proficiencies at times, right? But that's just how I look at it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna step away real quick. I'm gonna do some things. I'll be right back. Just give me about a minute or two. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, so like the cell phone thing, that's a big thing. That's a big deal around the U.S. right now with schools, education. The reason I want to talk about it because I reminisce a time in the early 20s. See, I was born in the 20th century. We all are. I was born in the late 80s. So I'll say it like that. But I'll never forget the 90s was a great era. Yeah, the sports, everything was nice and everything. Yeah, you had some political bullshit there and conspiracy nonsense in the background. But when I look at this century, there are like before 9/11, 2000 reminds you of the 90s a little bit because everybody wasn't ready to transition. I say the next year, early part of 2001, probably around August. Let's say it like that. Decent, right? Everybody was living life, living it up, right? But somewhere around September 11th, 9/11, man, that changed this country and the world a little different. America ain't been right since 9/11. And how many times we've been in the desert and the war and recruitment? For some years, man. Like I can tell you, like 9/11 changed the world. It took about a span of probably from '09 to 2001 to recover, but America wasn't the same after that. Even though from 2002 to 2009, it was a different world. Because if you want to go back then, 2001 from the 90s and up was old school 20th century. I just gonna keep it 1000 because 2001 from the 90s on up, that's where the world was at. Really, it wasn't like evolved yet. America was still stuck in their little ways of the past. People had that minus of the racism, but it was there. But 2002, after 9/11 hit, it's a different country, man. Yeah, great music, yeah, great everything, sports and everything, but it's a different era outside of all that. Even the school systems, you name it. That was a rough period. That was a rough time. So from '07, the good years, and people be online now when the internet was a different beast back then. Hell, '07 was a great year than when I came on here. But then '08, that's when shit changed. But it was still a good year in between the changes. Then it went downhill afterwards. You know how YouTube went pre smartphone, Android, Apple era. And now look at it now, it's trash. You have too many fucking casuals. It all started in 2012. They was in the corner and then they grew over time in 2015, like these weak ass, hoe ass niggas in the 2.0 manosphere, fake manosphere space that ain't did shit in years. And now it's dried up. So that goes to show you we're in a different era. Yeah, 20s, the 20s of the 21st century, the 20s, right? The 2020s, the pandemic and after pandemic, it's trash. It's a trash era we're in right now. And casuals are dying out. Thank goodness. You got a little individuals and here and there and there. But the real one's coming back. But you got to be sophisticated with tech now. Tech is the new game. Tech is the new standard. The tech is the economy, politics that we live in. It's not a technocracy. No, this is a utilitarian society with technology, with fast-paced everything. Nuclear stuff is here. Hell, I just watched. I'm gonna tell you what I watched the other day. It's the old reviews of the Far Cry series, the video games, because it's a topic I like. Like role playing games, for example. Everybody kept bitching about the stories and things like that, because casual relates to everything we do, even in politics, you name it. Some people complain about their sales, right? They complain about certain games coming out, right? But if you remember the old games, I like this one dude's channel. He said something about Far Cry 2, the malaria shit. Hell, you can fix the car. We know that. But it goes to show you the game is still, if you buy it in the store Xbox, you know damn well Far Cry 2 is still a better game at its time when it came out in '08. And I'm talking about the era that we was in at that time when these games was something that buys time, you just chill. I'm talking about when we was younger. You look at those games now, they still play good on these newer consoles. These newer games got problems, glitches, bugs, you name it. And these casuals trying to say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with the game. They're gonna get game of the year. They're gonna get game of the year. There ain't nothing wrong with it. There ain't nothing wrong. They get game of the year." And you know why they say there's nothing wrong with it? Because they dumbasses don't play enough games like I do. See, they don't play enough to understand that this stuff is real. This stuff is real, man. And it's not just video games, movies, and all that stuff. All that's declining because of the political climate we in. and a mix of the technology that we're talking about. Even online, podcast has been trashed for the last, I'll say, about 4 years ago, or probably five or more. There's some decent podcasts, but you got a lot of trash ones in between. But like I'm saying this before with the cell phone thing, the banning of everything. It's the start of a new beginning, not the beginning of the end, but the era for these young kids. They can't live like we did back in the early 21st century. That's not feasible for them. I'm sorry, everything is digital. Y'all just gonna have to police better on the internet. If you catch them hacking and stealing, they're doing life. Don't think about it. You're done if you do that shit. You can't do the shit that you normally do, man. You gotta see. Back then, we was fortunate to get away with a lot of shit. Yes, because in the early 21st century, we got away with a lot of shit. Even the 90s, when I was a kid, a lot of people got away with a lot of shit. Now, if I was an adult and a teenager back then in the 90s was a great era for most people. This century, not so much, but it was for me the early part of the 21st century. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the teen years that I had, even when I was playing sports. Great period. Them days is gone. Them days is long gone. They days is long gone where I used to, live and all that, and especially here. Long gone. So I'm getting older now. I ain't the same person I what once was when I was younger. See, back then it's a little different. Now it's more restrictive. You got to really be on your P's and Q's and be on here on your best behave, and then that's it. But the reason why I'm talking about the cell phone banning for these kids, it doesn't affect me anyway, but I'm just laughing at the fact you let other people raise your kids. You let this fool raise your kids. Now look at you. Look how stupid you are. If y'all parents or y'all ain't good leaders, y'all ain't good leaders. Y'all ain't shit. They still gonna find a way to sneak it in the school system. You know what I'm saying? It's just more bullshit. And I only know that this game can be reversed in probably the next couple of years. Watch what I tell you. They say they're gonna do one thing, but it's gonna and they're gonna reverse it back to another. That's just crazy. You can't have a society like that. Most people ain't shit, bro. They always gonna claim these bans are gonna work, and they don't work at the end because they still gonna be addicted. That's all it is. You just make them want more. It's just like anything else. You can ban so much shit, but it's already too late. You should have did that when they were younger. You should have had a culture like that. See, in China and them Asian countries, you can get away with that shit. You can't get away with that in America. They'll vote against that in the future. You know how many Democrats will vote against that, and they're gonna try to take the House and try to take the presidency again, which is a possibility because Trump is out of there, bro. He ain't gonna make it all them years. He gonna be ousted because all that Epstein shit and all that combination of shit and all these bitch ass casual niggas is cheering him get out. I don't fuck with neither side. Fuck the casual and Trump supporters. Fuck everybody. On that tip, it's over. See, like I said, don't get distracted with bitch asses on everybody voted for them. They get what they paid for. They're idiots. That's not a win for men, you dummies. That's a win for the people up top. They don't care about the men. I'm trying to tell y'all, people getting screwed left and right. Y'all better understand, y'all voted for that fool. Y'all 32%, y'all still idiots. He don't give a fuck about nobody but himself. Like I said, his first term was bullshit. Fuck his first term, and I never voted him then. I didn't vote at all that year. That's the only time I didn't vote. Now, I voted this year. I voted a different candidate. But the first time he ran, I didn't vote for neither one. Let's keep it real. It's a shitty election. Elections are bullshit. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Yeah, you can vote what you want to. I have a right to say I have a right to vote. It's okay to vote. It's okay to not to vote. You know what I'm saying? Don't let no one tell you vote. You can vote who you want to vote, but if you vote for that food, shame on you. That's on you. I'll forgive the person if I'm close to you that voted for that food. That's fine. But I'm saying the people that have his mindset deserve what they get. And you got people deported. You got people getting their head knocked off. It is what it is, man. You get what you paid for. If we voted the other way, you saw us stupid. Cool, but we get what we paid for, right? I learned that lesson when I voted for that fool, Obama. That's what I learned about politics. I mean, yeah, I learned before that, but I learned the hard way. I had to go through that. I was young. I was in my own ignorance learning about, I know the philosophies and belief systems, but I had to learn. I didn't vote for him twice. I voted for him once. And like what he's doing, I want to see different candidates. See, I was studying politics properly. Even back then when I came on YouTube, I knew a little bit about politics, but I knew a little bit about history, cultural, and things like that. But when I transitioned, I studied in-depth geopolitical shit, in-depth philosophies, and I put it together. And then that's why this channel came along, right along with my stuff, my faith, and all that stuff. And then I put it here and dissect everything. What people's talking about online, even live stream saying dumb shit. See that the 4 years ago that I was on that old boys channel, he's a fucking moron. He don't know shit about politics. I know way more politics than him. That people don't move like that. When I used to work in the workplace, that was a great period. I had 2 years experience of that and understand how pathetic people are. Most people ain't shit, bro. You can tell me, you can ask me anything about Southern politics because most people are stupid. They're not conservative. If you're really conservative, do the shit. And that's what people don't understand. It don't make you conservative. What makes you conservative is your accolades and your resources. But you got a lot of idiots think they're conservative and they're not. They're really liberal on the low. They just talk a whole bunch of bullshit, spewing nonsense over and over again. Yeah. I just look at things a little different than most people. Yeah. But it is what it is. You know, you see things, you just move on and you're just like, okay, this is gonna be a good time. But you look at these things, you be like, what the hell's going on here? But I look at the whole thing and just be like, hey, this is it. But when you look at these things, you be like, okay, this is what we're seeing here. And then like I look at 4 years ago what he was talking about, he was on some bullshit when he's talking. But that's how I look at things right now. But but I look at these things, I'm gonna talk for an hour, I'm just pausing and looking at things right now. Um just multitasking here, just doing me, whatever. But I look at these things like, yeah, I had to talk about it, man. Like these bands are out of control. Now the food is contaminated. I share that with the boys and on the other platform, and it's crazy, man. But that goes to show you, man, like people are desperate out here. They really desperate for attention. And this stuff is getting wild and it's getting out of hand. And people are just emotionally unstable. That's the thing about people. They just say stupid shit to get online and then they want attention. But you got to look at the big picture, what they want. Like I just don't I don't know anymore. Like you got people doing dumb stuff and they just like, okay, this is gonna be what it is. And I'm just looking at it like, okay, this is wild for me. But you look at it, you like, okay, this is it. This is it. I'm not saying it ain't right, but I'm saying that most people just get caught up on silly stuff. But it just goes to show you, like, when we look at why they try to ban stuff, like, where was this when we was younger when they try to ban it? See, they waited when we get older, and if we had kids of my age group or whatever or above, it's like they ain't gonna be mounting shit no way. 'Cause you know what's gonna happen is they're gonna grow up to be more physical, more violent, and going this way ain't gonna work. You saw what happened. You're gonna see more shit, more crime, more terrorism, and more people distracted. See, they could have did this at a time when we was younger in this century. They would have stopped all this stuff. They couldn't stop 9/11 because that was the Bin Laden thing and the money. There's some truth behind that. It's a lot more to that. I'm not gonna go in depth because y'all know the story about that. And you can find it on the documentary what people say, but they have false views on it. But reality, we was involved in that. So we're no better than everybody else. That's why this country is gonna go the way it's gonna go, and people's gonna go somewhere else. Europe's collapsing, this one's collapsing, and everybody ain't really got no option. It's over. Ain't nobody gonna try to rebuild nothing here. Out your mind if you believe that. They come here for a certain reason, and then the resources is gone. There's no resources here. Y'all better go somewhere else and find some resources. It'll be a long time to this thing get better. I don't understand why people believe that they can fix this stuff. No, they cannot fix this stuff. They're the same people that hate everything, but the main ones don't want change. Like I said, fuck everybody else on that tip. We're not boys out here. Y'all gotta understand, most people, they do it for attention. See, when they do it for attention, that's when you look at them like side eye, be like, are they really serious? No, they ain't about that life. They ain't about what it takes to work, take risk. Let me tell you something about people. Most people just want opportunities. They want to lie to the world, lie to themselves, thinking they're better. But in reality, they're suckers in real life. See, one thing about me, I look at people for who they are. Like when I did that job 2 years, not even though it was a barista job, and then I had other jobs in between that, I learned a lot from people that's just dumb. And you expose, especially down here in GA, you've learned a lot of nonsense through the years, and you're just like, okay, these people ain't on nothing. And it goes to show you ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not questioning anybody's motives and big stuff and all that stuff. Like, okay. But on YouTube, you can say what you want to say, put your research, put it out there, get some notoriety. That's it. But people be scamming. Scamming is a big deal now. It should be illegal around the United States, but they're not gonna do that. That's what makes them the money. That's what keeps this country afloat. Scamming is the way. They love scamming and BNSing around people that they deem to be a threat or not. So that's why they love scamming so much. And I'm just like, okay, come on, bro. But scamming is like their biggest calling card. You can go on there and you see the ads, and a lot of people call it AdSense. No, they just broke. See, when people put ads on their videos, I use that as example. Like when they do that, and then you have casual fools that can't create content, they can't talk like I do, be natural. They're fake on here. And that's why I treat the internet as a tool, man. Like you got to treat this shit like they ain't nothing. But you get a feel what's going on. See what this site and other sites are all doing, exposing the bullshit. That's why AI is not future. It's only future if you have the skills online. Everybody's not gonna get that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say fuck AI. AI is not future and it never will be future. And you keep voting dumb, you keep voting stupid, you'll never see it. It'll be always something else. You already got it on your phone. You already got it on other things that you're doing, but you're fucking around saying that ain't it. But it is it. It's in your hand. That's why AI will never be future because it's too many flaws in anything else. And especially if you knowing what's going on. So a lot of things that people always want to say this is future, they be capping half of the time. A lot of it's about money, bro. Ain't no 15 years from now, these jobs will not exist. A lot of people trying to say, "Oh, you're gonna be in a factory job." Like my man said, Wall said, "I agree, but then I disagree with that part." 15, that's not true. 15 years from now, this shit will disappear. Don't y'all fucking understand? People trying to live overseas, they're not trying to live over here. It's over. Hell, 15 years from now, I ain't gonna be over here. It's over 15 years from now. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Like most people be in the ground. The way we're going, if we're going to war, it's over. You gotta go out here and pick up a arm or two. It is what it is, man. The warfare started. It's over. The essence of what you would call old America, it's over. Like I don't see no future. The only way you can change that is you participate in it. So nobody's not getting the participation of what they see right now. So I'm just saying, people get caught up on nonsense all day, every day. Because I'll usually in my streams at 3 something, early 3 o'clock, so I can get time, get a quick shave and I'll be all right. But it is what it is, man. Like this is a world of despair right now. So we gotta maintain what we have now and try to figure out what we need. So yeah, but 15 years from now, most people ain't gonna be living like this. No, technology done took over half of the shit and you adapt to it, you don't. It's that simple. You gotta look at the big picture of what's going on, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping off what's going on out here. And you just look at where we heading. So yeah, the Epstein file, I said that's not important. It is because most people care. They're gonna keep hounding him about it, and there's gonna be some opposition. The world's not gonna go in abysmal like him. He better get that out of his head, bro. People ain't gonna follow that shit. And people didn't vote for him ain't gonna fall for that shit. And the people that did vote for him is wigging out right now. A lot said they going off on him on True Self. Well, he's a clown, bro. That's who y'all voted for. He told you not to vote for him. See, Elon Musk stole the election for him. That's why people don't like Trump and they don't like him and they don't like this country. Like this country's falling apart then before he got there, but he made it worse in his first term. He's doing the same shit he always done, and the people that vote for him are still stupid. Don't realize that America's been dying. Y'all just need to stop believing your shit saying it's gonna get better. It's not. I've seen better shit. And nobody's gonna say any different than I say I don't see better shit, but I've seen better shit. Cross seas. But America is a country that's gonna go out of abysmal, man. Like it's not gonna go back to its normal glory. See, terrorism struck us down. You gotta understand, terrorism is king in the world. Always remember that it's king. It will remain that way until shit gets resolved in the future. See, technology divided everybody. It divided somewhat of a what they would call humanity and shit like that. That shit's over with, man. So we're in a world that people get caught up on silly stuff. They get distracted on the internet and talking all this bullshit and talking about, oh, we can make changes right now in policies and things like that nature. You know what I'm saying? They get to talk about A lot of stuff. Now, I'm not saying, if you want to love, that's cool. The ones that I don't know they care about you. I don't give a fuck about you anyway. But I'm saying the ones that do care, and if you made a mistake, vote for Trump, you should have known he don't care. See, if you wasn't old enough to vote, if y'all was young before, y'all probably older now, but if you was young to vote for him back then, you ought to be careful. He didn't care. Let's say he wasn't no politician. Bullshit. He always wanted to fuck with politicians. He fucked with Epstein. Come on, man. This guy was in pitch with Epstein. You can do his research for yourself. I'm not gonna argue about Trump. Trump ain't never been shit. That's a fact. And the Central Park jogging incident haunts him to this day. And he still, if you bring that up to him, he gets mad and gets red in the face. He knows he's done, bro. He can't take criticism. He's pussy. That's why he's a blatant community narcissist. He's a piece of shit. He has a utilitarian mind that don't care. He thinks one way. That's how they think. They think like those people. Most of them are narcissistic as hell. And I put them together because they have the same mindset. See, guys like Trump, America really don't need. We already got people like that. Everybody wants to blame the women. Fuck these so-called, what you call women, they say, right? I call them females. They're not women. Because real women won't be online talking shit and slandering dudes or themselves. I don't like to call them women because they're not. Those are females. Those are what they call them, adult females. Yeah, they act like children females, aka look like adults but act like children. That's why they ain't shit. Nobody likes children like that. I ain't got no problem with children. Children are precious. They're precious. They're rewarding. They're earned, and they deserve to live in a better quality of life. Not this dump what we call American everywhere else. Children deserve better leadership in the household and standards and laws, and not only just law, statutes, commandments, and precepts and judgment. That's what they should live under. Because without that, no nation will be nothing without those things. That's a fact. I believe in the Most High Yah all day, every day. But the problem is our people so brainwashed, controlled by, the sins of Esau and everybody else. And we also worry about political turmoils and shit. You got to get away from it. Yeah, the world's dying, bro. I've been saying dying for years and years. So you got to understand that people are going to be who they are. I learned to accept people for what it is. So don't get upset about anything. When you live in a world of a bunch of fools, deal with it. I just don't understand why people just don't see the big picture. It's crazy. See what's going on. Yeah, it's an hour. Okay. Get my minutes up in here. But that's all I've said. The school system is banning everything, which is understand. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the contamination of foods and stuff like that. Um, I think they call it cesspit or some shit like that. Not gonna get into that. Walmart bannings. Seeing articles about it, man. It's wild out here. I don't even shop at Walmart. By the way, I shop different stores and stuff like that. We have different grocery stores down here. Y'all be careful out there. And then the heat wave, man. This summer's been weird all year. So yeah, football season is around the corner. Everybody's gonna be focused on that. And everybody ain't gonna be online doing live streams. I don't blame them because football season's going around. Everybody's in. The only time people be inside will probably be the fall and winter. You know how that goes. And the NBA season will be right back what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of signings, a lot of decent signings. The NBA finals, a lot of people say, oh, they didn't watch it. That's bullshit. Y'all just mad y'all like two small market teams were entertaining and they had game 7. This year has been decent. But next year is going to be very interesting. It's incredible. So with that, until next time, shalom to people of Israel and to the Gentiles. Until next time, I'm signing off. I'm out.